when you're younger, your dad, typically how it would be throughout time, and for a son especially, he would guide that son through life. And as he got older, he would impart more and more wisdom on him as he saw fit for what he could handle at different stages in his life. And he would slowly but surely grow him up into a man and make him prepared, not just physically, but mentally, for how to handle the wicked ways of this world. But today, you don't have that rite of passage anymore. You don't have fathers doing that with their sons. Everything is about having fun, and we don't want to give them too much stress, and life's already scary and difficult, so let's make their home life always fun, and everything's about happiness. And there's an element of that that's good, but there's also a part of it that is really detrimental to the upbringing of a person. And if you look at especially the boomer generation, they have coddled their children their entire lives, and it had a huge impact on their children from the Gen X generation to the Gen Z generation. A progressive increase in the coddling and in the childlike behavior of the children as they grew up into adulthood. You have some people from Gen X living home with their parents at an older age, with like in their late 20s, early 30s. But it got progressively worse when you went to the millennials living home into their 30s and 40s. And now Gen Z is on their path where some of them are, can't even conceive the idea of moving out on their own, living on their own. They plan on living with their parents as long as they possibly can. And they're very much dependent on their parents for everything. So it's gotten progressively worse as the generations went on coddling their children more and more. And now you have these young people today that really are very immature at an age that they shouldn't be. They're past 25, their brain is fully developed, and they are still acting like a 13-year-old child. And this is a phenomenon. This is an epidemic across not just the United States, but the world. And it's more than just a cultural thing. It's a generational thing. So you have a lot of people that are very immature today. And then they're at the same time, they're fighting for all of this deep, dark, secret information to be released to the public when it's almost impossible to do that to a generation that wouldn't be able to comprehend it and wouldn't be able to take that information in and absorb it appropriately, handle it in a mature manner. You understand it, and then you go to the government and say, okay, now that we know, what are we going to do about this? Who are we going to hold accountable? If it were that simple, maybe Trump would have done it already. Maybe their team would have done it, but there's probably a lot of fear of people overreacting and not being able to deal with this information.